Yes, sir. This new Waggle summer collection goes crazy, doesn't it? I'm such a big fan. I got the that QR code, by the way, is always or will be from time to time. I'll leave it up there for a few seconds, but it's there. That way you don't have to worry about memorizing a code for any of the Waggle stuff that you see. But the website and the code link will always be in the description, so you can always find it there. Well, mic check though. How we feeling? The America's Team debate. Truth officially revealed, as if it wasn't already. And not that it matters to me, but a pretty damning piece of information just came across my feed. Doing a little bit of research, a little bit of writing today for cowboyscountry.com. And I wanted to talk about it today, amongst a few other miscellaneous notes about OTAs and the like. A little bit of background music for us while I take a sip of this. The world's widest, I can't angle it so y'all can see it, but mug of coffee. Unnecessarily so. Tastes pretty dang good though. My wife got this. Cut that audio volume down just a hair. My wife got this chocolate infused coffee. I guess it's her pregnancy cravings. That plus an inordinate amount of hot fries littering our pantry. It's kind of been the motto lately. But hey, whatever gets her through is fine by me. She's the boss. Just so y'all know, man, like this beat it always puts me in a good mood. But if I'm ever out, like from this point forward, if I'm ever off the grid for a stretch of hours or days or even a week, just know that something either really bad has happened, I'm on vacation, or I'm working on improving the studio setup, whether that be microphone, camera, presentation, production, portfolio expansion, even learning new tips and tricks, things like that. It's one of those three instances every single time. All right. This will be the last live stream. I mentioned yesterday, by the way, that was a pretty high octane one. Pretty passionate rant about the running back position, thanks to our girl Angie, who just put me into flow state right off the rip. And I guess it was about 15 minutes in. We had a lot of fun, though. A lot of really up-tempo discussion. And at the end of it, I mentioned that we're going to be changing some things up. And so not completely rewriting how we do things here. I'm just going to experiment with something new, something that I think is going to be that I think you guys will enjoy, something that I'm going to try to incorporate so long as it's not throwing a wrench into too much of my family time, my scheduling, just week to week. As far as production goes, you know, I have a limited amount of time to get things done nowadays, and that window is only going to continue closing as baby number 3 gets here pretty soon. But it's going to be it'll be a fun way for me to do something a little bit different, and I think that you guys will really appreciate it. So I also have a special guest who is going to be helping me on this particular project here, and it's one that you guys all know very well. And honestly, that is a little bit surreal for me to even consider working alongside. So that's coming. Just be on the lookout for that. It's already in the works. I've already got a few things rolling with it. But needless to say, it's sports below the surface in a much different light, painting the same picture, just a little with a different brush, if you will. All right. And by the way, on that same note, I am Lando from the Lando Show. All right. And this is Sports Below the Surface.
I am inevitable.
We got America's Team, the truth revealed. We have the cornerback contingency plan We have Elam energy today, unprecedented. That is the term that we used. And then also on top of that, we have Whataburger. And all those things sort of correlate. And of course, we got Waggle too. Don't forget about that. But thank you to Waggle, the official partner on the Lando Show. Thank you to everybody else who is chiming in here. It's Thursday. Looks like it's a little bit dead. That's totally fine. You guys feel the Friday energy slowly rolling along. Almost 4:00 here on a Thursday, but that's all good. It's all good. I hope y'all are enjoying yourselves. Okay, so starting from the top. I don't know how I missed this, but it just came across my feed again. And I want you guys to take a peek with me and tell me what you think. Cowboys Americas Team, truth confirmed with brutal schedule stretch. I don't know how I missed this at first. Like I said, we did a bunch of work breaking down this schedule. I guess because the bye week threw me off to some extent, or the fact that I don't know. I didn't hear the report that the NFL was trying to do away with this particular stretch here as far as scheduling goes. I missed that. I knew that the Cowboys dealt with it in years past, and I knew that they weren't the only team to deal with it. I did not know that until today that this year was the only year, or they were the only team that was going to have to deal with this particular set of circumstances. What am I talking about? Three games in 10 days. Did you guys know this? Am I the only one that did not know this? Ten teams dealt with this last year. But the Cowboys in 2025 are the only team that's going to have to deal with it. That's kind of crazy, right? And I'm not necessarily complaining. I think it's fun. It's just another test. Right? I mean, they're going to learn a lot about themselves in that stretch. But the thing with, because we already talked about them setting a record for Thursday night football games. Right? So yes, with only two of those games coming on a short week, because the first one is week one, right? So that eliminates that from the jump. It's like you have the entire offseason to get ready for that game. That doesn't really change anything. And then, so on the back end of those Thursday night games, the ones that are on short weeks, you also have another mini bye. So it's almost as if those things sort of balance each other out. I didn't necessarily look at the fourth Thursday night game thing for the first time in NFL history, by the way, as any sort of disadvantage. I don't think. And by the way, if you guys are in the comment section, somebody shoot me a message on Twitter. I can't tell. I'm not seeing anybody in the comments. We don't have nearly as many people in here as we usually do. So that could be why. If you guys haven't commented yet, that's totally cool. I just want to make sure it's not something on my end that's bugging. I don't see anything. On the YouTube or Twitter side. That's okay. I just want to make sure somebody hit me up on Twitter, and I'll keep tabs on that if I can. Just add me directly. That way I don't have to go searching for it in my DMs. But you got record-setting 4 games on Thursday Night Football, and then now the only team in NFL or in the entire National Football League to play 3 games in 10 days. 10 teams forced into that brutal window last year. This year, just one, right? The league claimed it was trying to cut back on that kind of scheduling stress. And this is all according to Warren Sharp, by the way. He was the one that brought this to my attention. I definitely need to make sure that I include that here in this article. Now, I'll go ahead and do that real quick. But buried inside that too, so it's like taking it a step further as far as America's team is concerned, right? The NFL also elected to jam the Cowboys into the Monday night window for 2 consecutive games for them. For the Cowboys particularly, they have a bye week sandwiched in between their week 9 and week 11 Monday night schedules, but the Monday night slates. But still, 2 bye weeks and 2 games for the Cowboys. That's damning in and of itself too, is it not? We already talked about last year, 7-10, and even despite that, they were tied for, I believe, the 3rd highest, viewership and ratings with the Baltimore Ravens, behind only the Lions and the Chiefs. And they were 7-10, and they were still averaging 7 million more viewers than the NFL average of 16.5 million viewers per game. That was their stretch. The Cowboys averaged 23 all year. Dak Prescott only played half the games. Micah Parsons played half the games. Trevon Diggs missed most of the season. You were watching Cooper Rush and washed Zeke and Rico Dowdle out there, and CeeDee Lamb playing through a shoulder injury. Tyler Guyton getting benched for a veteran journeyman. We got 2 undrafted rookies out there going crazy, Brock Hoffman and TJ Bass, and the Cowboys are still the 3rd highest viewed football team in the entire country. And then we got, people like Chase Daniel. I love that dude, by the way. No hard feelings. I don't know, if he's just trying to use the Cowboys to sort of, if he's trying to rage bait Cowboys Nation or what, I'm not sure. I'm speculating here. But, he's giving quotes and forcing, it's like encouraging these other media outlets to write these reports on, Taylor Swift as some needle mover, which she is, by the way, but citing a pop star as sort of the basis or the logic for why the Chiefs are now America's team. Dynasty of the decade Chiefs, best quarterback I probably have ever seen, probably maybe that we ever will see. Perpetual Super Bowl contenders. And the world's number 1 global icon, I guess, on top of all that at every single one of their home games. And they're still just now surpassing the Cowboys amidst a down season, 7-10, in which they're number 1 in the ratings. Once again, I do not care. The Cowboys, to me, in my head, are not America's team either. Anyway, I guess I should have prefaced this. It's like, I don't even refer to them as that. And you guys that have followed me long enough, you've heard me say what I'm about to say. The Cowboys are America's favorite team to hate, first and foremost. But if ratings are the ultimate, measuring stick, then regardless of what they are, if they're America's team, America's favorite team to love, they do have the most fans. But like I always talk about, right? When you got the most fans, you got more bad apples. And when you got more bad apples, more people hate you. Therefore, it's 31 versus 1 always. More people love to see the Cowboys fail and suck and love to hate them than they love to watch them win. That's the nature of it. But the Cowboys, once again, having the largest fan base by a landslide, the NFL wins either way. Whether the Cowboys are good or bad doesn't matter to them. Either way, the people are going to be talking. But for this particular argument here, the NFL has spoken as far as who America's favorite team to watch is. That's the way that it should be characterized. And not even Taylor Swift can shift that. What's up, Neo? Jeffrey Hawthorne in the house too. Hello, gentlemen. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, Jeffrey. I don't know what else to call it. Exactly. I just seen your second comment too. Yeah, that's what I was just trying to bring to light there a little bit. I can't wait for y'all to see this next project, man. It's going to be so much fun. It's killing me not to start talking about it and spilling the beans right now. The topic itself, or I guess the headline name of within the project, won't surprise you. And once we get it going, you guys will realize you'll be like, "Oh, I've heard this before," and that's because I have talked about it before. But I didn't go nearly into the depth that I wanted to. What's up, Gene? And so it just kind of dawned on me when I heard one particular person that will be contributing to this project with me say something. And that's when I knew. I was like, all right, let's just dive head first. Let's go all in. Let's do something different. We'll get some collaborative help on it. And we're going to try to really hammer it home and break it down, talk about it, figure it out, get real deep below the surface together. Lando and chat, Clemente Espinoza up in here. I can see you guys now. We're working. I guess it was just quiet whenever I was making those comments a second ago. It's all good. Honestly, I'm bad at so it might be better in some instances if it's not popping for me, just because I want to make sure that I get to everybody's questions. I just know that my scatter squirrel brain don't always stay on top of things. That's why I'm trying to let this the world's widest cup of coffee stimulate me so that I can stay on task here. And pink waving Lando. What's Sadika? I keep forgetting Sadika. I'm sorry. So when Sadika sends those, it comes across to me. It spells it out. I don't know why that is. I forgot because somebody reminded me. I think it was Nick's the night we found out about George Pickens. I still can't believe George Pickens is a dang Dallas Cowboy. That's insane. Nick's made it clear to me that Sadika is not saying hand pink waving Lando. She's sending emojis that are coming across as words, and it confuses me every single time. But I promise, Sadika, I'm gonna try my best not to mess that up next time. I guess that's been about 2 weeks. So if the second time it's happened in 2 weeks, it won't happen again. But thank you for being here. As always, you're one of the. There you go. There it is. See. I'm guessing she was waving at me with maybe a pink heart or something because she knows I got girls. So, girl dad over here. Maybe number 3 on the way. We'll see. We're gonna wait on the gender, so I'm kind of excited about that. We waited on the first one. My daughter Hagen, she was a surprise. The second one we did a reveal, but the wife wants to run it back like we did for round 1. So. Clemente Espinoza. We also need to talk about, I forgot I haven't touched on Hard Knocks, by the way. That's going to be cool. The fact that they're doing a feature on not just one team, an entire division, plus a bonus team outside of that division. That's freaking cool to me, man. Clemente says, I had a feeling this would happen. I actually looked into it a while back, and according to the NFL, new head coaches and their teams are exempt from Hard Knocks. I guess Jerry was cool with it. Yeah, they have the option. And I actually think, Clemente, I'm going to do some research on it because I know not all 4 teams in the NFC East would have fallen under those previous qualifications. But if memory serves, yeah, that's interesting. So I wonder how much like Brian Schottenheimer not necessarily being new to the organization may have contributed to that. That's I don't know. But speaking of which, I teased WHATABURGER at the beginning. I want to go ahead and mention this. I'm not trying to do it without butchering it, but I want to make sure that the appropriate source gets the credit. Brian brought this to my attention this morning on Jeff Kavanaugh's YouTube channel. I actually did have time. I consumed a little bit of content today, which is a win for me. I always love being able to kind of scour the market, if you will, and just take in what some of the other creators are talking about. It kind of helps me. It helps me stay on track from time to time because for me, one of my biggest struggles, I've talked to you guys about this before, is knowing what is and is not widely understood. So my job for Cowboys Nation is to creatively convey the truth for the true fan. The true fan meaning the below the surface people, you guys who are here in the middle of the summer when there's no football to talk about, even despite OTAs being here. We're not even in shells. It's damn near a NFL combine out there. 7-on-7 stuff. But y'all are still here supporting me. Okay? I can't do my job to the best of my ability if I don't have consistent feedback and engagement and interaction with you guys. Because once again, I'm a sports psychology thinker. Like that's the way that I operate. I want the deepest stuff, the most common misconceptions, the sports psychology, the most misunderstood components of team building, the salary cap, all that stuff. Like I want to help bring that to life creatively. But so with that line of thinking, though, I miss some of the things that are necessary to talk about, like, oh, maybe Micah Parsons not being at OTAs on day 2, right? And that's minuscule. That's not an issue to me. But people like to hear that stuff. People want to stay up to date on that stuff. They want to hear it. They want to be informed, right? And so a lot of times I'll miss those like just the common everyday Cowboys headlines or news and notes type things, right? Because I'm down here. I'm in the basement digging too much. That was a huge tangent, but needless to say, catching up on days like today when I'm able to get ahead of my work, get my written work done early in the morning, take a little walk the dogs right before I come out here and do a lot of the digital creation and production. I catch up. Short little truck ride, commute to and from the gym, 15 minutes here and there. I try to catch a little bit of my fellow Cowboys producers. And so I did that today. Brian Broaddus talked about, I believe it was Ambar Garcia from, what was that? The Cowboys Break, I think is what he said. And what Brian said, based on what Ambar told him, is that Brian Schottenheimer, different Brian here, the head coach of the Cowboys, was walking around the entire Cowboys organization with a bag of WHATABURGER, like the big industrial sized bags, like when you like a catering bag, just full. I'm picturing him just freaking farmers walking with 40 pounds of burgers and like his arms just waddling through the hallways. And Broaddus was specific about it. Like it's not just coaching staff or players or whoever, it's sales team, accounting team, marketing team, people in the pro shop or whatever you call it, right out there where the little field is at the Star in Frisco. Everybody. And Ambar was saying people's faces were lit up. They're like they feel seen for the first time in probably their entire career working for the Cowboys for God knows how long. It's like all of a sudden they're a part of this thing. They're not just salary workers stuck in a cubicle. They're members of the Dallas Cowboys organization. And Brian Schottenheimer is making them feel seen and feel heard and they feel like they have a deeper sense of purpose now. And that stuff may not mean anything to some of you or most of you. But to me, it does, because it's rooted in relationships, which is what he said from the jump, from the onset, when he took the job here. We're freaking talking about WHATABURGER here. Like, are y'all hearing me when I say that? Once again, this is how deeply invested you are. You're here listening to me. Shout out Vach, just a guy with the camera and a microphone. Talk about WHATABURGER, as if that's supposed to correlate to some magical season for the Cowboys. But hey, you know what they say, right? Insanity is what? Doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, guess what? WHATABURGER is different. That ain't doing the same thing. That's new. If nothing else, that's new. Are y'all listening?
Guys,
Listen, Linda. Listen.
okay, what?
Are you Linda's listening? If he's willing to do that for people who will not ever step foot in that locker room, will not ever put on a jersey, will not ever sign a player contract, what's he doing for the 53 guys that are going to suit up on Sundays? Or that are on the active roster, I should say. What's he doing for the coaching staff around him? Do y'all know how buttoned up with your players you got to be for an offensive-minded head coach, by the way, to step foot to it's basically the first organized team activity, his introductory conference with, football stuff, installs, all the guys in the building for the most part. Your first press conference as a head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And you mention so candidly, so playfully, so easily, organically, Osa Odigizua sucks at shooting free throws. Just rolls off the tongue. You know how confident you got to be in your relationship with that player to say that? And this ain't some jag. So that's a $20 million man. Having free throw shooting competitions in his office with George Pickens. I mean, guys, this is that's just the tip of the iceberg. Right? We've been discussing this all off season. Things just continue to compile, and then you get to, what did Kair Elam say today? And Clemente, great point, man. You don't have to be a superstar to matter to Brian Schottenheimer. That's well said. That's it, right? So look at this. Look at my screen. Okay? Where my cursor is right here, in red, you see Tyler Guyton right above it. Patience. If Tyler Guyton was treated as if he was a superstar by Mike Solari last year, do you think the public perspective of him would look a little bit different? That coffee got me stuttering over here. Do you think that Tyler Guyton would have had less of a learning curve had his coaching staff not been on an expiring contract and with no time or patience to coddle a spring chicken like him who just started playing football 5 years ago full time? Do you think this right here that you see? Well, I just took it away. There goes Squirrel Brain again. Right here. Elam Energy. Do you think Elam Energy would look a bit, his public perception would look a little bit different had his cornerbacks coach treated him like he was a superstar when he was a rookie? What did Elam say yesterday? Excuse me. I wrote about it today. Unprecedented energy is the title. His words, not mine. Right here. The energy in the Cowboys building is like something I've never been a part of before. Now, we all talk about childlike energy, how the energy and the love for the game of football in the college level is higher than it is at the professional level, because money isn't as involved, or at least it historically speaking wasn't the level that it is today. Kaiir Elam played at a very high profile program, a Power 4 SEC program, a nationally prominent, borderline blue blood brand, the Florida Gators. But the Cowboys are, his words, the energy in that building is something like I've never seen or been a part of before. Take a listen to this. Bob your head while I find something real quick. Hold up. Not sure why it's not loading for me. Let me just refresh. Let me make sure you guys can hear this.
Defensive back Kair Elam, who is now on the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to read you a quote from former Buffalo Bills defensive back Kair Elam, who is now on the Dallas Cowboys.
Hold on. Let me prepare myself. I just saw George Pickens of the Dallas Cowboys say it's nice to be part of a different culture now. And the thought was he's throwing shots at Pittsburgh.
Sure.
So, all right.
This is very eerily reminiscent of former Sabres players who go to other markets.
I thought Elam, right when he left, said...
Real quick, Schotty's WHATABURGER ways are so powerful. Like, we're talking about multiple players from previous organizations who have come in and instantly felt rejuvenated by the energy here. This is Schotty's WHATABURGER ways, overcoming the pre-existing country club Cowboys narrative. This is what we're talking about here, okay? This is deeper than just handing out bags of burgers. This is getting to the core of the problems that have persisted and perpetually tainted this organization when it matters most. Hashtag 53 brands.
Nice things like, I'm thankful, it was good, it didn't work out. What do we got now?
He didn't say anything bad, but there's clearly some undertones here.
Okay.
Undertones.
This is courtesy of DallasCowboys.com, the Dallas Cowboys website, picked up by Pro Football Talk, which is where I found it. Quote, I feel like the energy here is something I've never been a part of. I love the enthusiasm. And also, I would just say the energy from the coaching staff, they actually make you feel like they care. And that's something that's very exciting. Okay, I'm going to roll my eyes at this. This is a guy that it didn't work out here in Buffalo. He went to another, he got on the field. Things didn't go well when he was out on the field. But I want people to also understand context here. There was a lot of talk about, but when you hear coaching staff and him say that, okay, there was a lot of talk and thoughts about Kair Elam not getting along or headbutting with John Butler, who was his position coach.
One of his position coaches.
One of his position coaches.
Who did leave last year?
Yes, when he didn't get the defensive coordinator's job. Not on bad terms.
Sure.
He said, hey, I wanted that job. I didn't get it. I got to spread my wings. I want to be a DC. He went to Nebraska and became their DC, actually.
But there was a lot of belief that it was Elam and Butler that did not get along.
There was a lot of that was going on. And when you talk to Kair Elam about John Butler, you kind of got that sense. When you talk to John Butler about Kair Elam, you kind of get that sense. They never say anything bad about each other.
Yeah.
But for Kair Elam to come out and say the energy from the coaching staff, they actually make you feel like they care, and that's something very exciting. I think he's specifically maybe referencing one coach who maybe he didn't see eye to eye with. I'm going to read you a quote.
Okay. Before I get to Gene's comment here, and thank you so much for that, Gene. I actually needed to hear that more than I knew, so thank you. Imagine if John Butler in Buffalo treated Kaiir Elam the way that Brian Schottenheimer, bag of burgers, waddles through the Star in Frisco and treats the accounting staff, the marketing staff, the sales team, the hostess, the janitor, you, me, and otherwise. Imagine if Mike Solari had the time of day for Tyler Guyton. And yes, I know what Big Duke said. More on this very soon. Trust me. There's your hint. Maybe the guy who's only played football for 5 years didn't really know how to be a pro yet. Yeah, that one deserves one of these. Damn! G Martz. Thank you, man. Seriously. He says, Lando, you got to do an at least 10-minute show each day on what you write about. Fisher mentions your name all the time. Mike Fisher, he's talking about. Mentions your name all the time, giving you credit for the info that he mixes in. You might as well get paid too. And I want to be clear. I know exactly what Gene means, but I don't want to mislead. Mike is paying, he's compensating me for my services. Trust me. But he's right. Gene is right about me. I definitely need to be letting my written work be more of a springboard or digital. This right here, me and you. No question about it, Gene. So thank you for saying that, and I will definitely take that advice. And it's not that I hadn't been thinking about that already, but seeing you say that, confirmation. I'm a coachable guy, needless to say. Here we go. Marcus McFarland in the house too. Oh, Eddie O, what's up? He says, hey, Lando, I wanted to thank you for your kind words. My grandma had passed. My mom wanted me. Hey, man, you got it, bro. I mean, look, that was nothing for me. You know, the least I could have possibly done. I don't want to say that I know what you're going through. I've been through similar circumstances, but my my faith carries me through those moments, brother. And so I hope that it's helping you do the same thing. Because the good Lord above does always have a plan. That's the only way that I know how to operate. So I'm sorry about your loss, but I appreciate you being here, and I'm happy to hear that I was able to help, even if only for a couple seconds. So that's cool too. Good stuff. Marcus McFarland, and tell your mom also she's more than welcome. By the way, I understand where you're coming from, but the Cowboys are America's team. It comes from the earlier years. You can't just take it away like the steel. Exactly. Yeah. No. So that's exactly right, Marcus. That's exactly right. You don't just get to, copyright someone else's patent. It's not how it works. You technically steal the rating show for 1 year when the Cowboys are 7-10. So all of a sudden that gives you it just feels like a wasted reach to me. The Chiefs, their play speaks for itself. Don't tell me that you need a pop star to prove that you're America's team. That's a joke. Damn! And like I said, I love Chase Daniel. I don't know what he was trying to get at, but that was laughable to me. And I guarantee you Patrick Mahomes would have thought the same exact thing. Don't mix us up with this pop star. If 300,000 other, teenage girls are watching me this year, I don't care. I'm trying to put that gold jacket on. That's what Patrick Mahomes is thinking. Screw the ratings. That's what I'm saying. I don't care. I told y'all, the Cowboys are America's favorite team to hate. As much or more than they're America's favorite team. But the NFL has spoken. What else do we need to talk about, guys? 40 minutes in here. I don't want to bog things down, but if there's something that I've missed or that I promised at the beginning that I forgot to get to, tell me right now, please. Like I said, I need y'all's help guiding the ship here. My squirrel brain gets the best of me sometimes. What else am I forgetting? Let me go ahead and take Gene's advice right now. I know what we need to talk about. Micah's contract. Spend about the next 10 or so minutes here letting this guide the discussion, and then maybe answer a few questions, and we'll work our way up out of here. 4:07. All right. Girls get out of school here in about 20 minutes. So, Jourdan Epstein made waves yesterday amongst Cowboys country, if you will. Not cowboyscountry.com, just, the Cowboys country. When the media asked Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones about a potential contract extension for Micah Parsons this week, damn. Jerry freaking Jones, man. He did what he does best, right? Deflect. Maybe a shy little smirk. Emperor Palpatine-esque. I've used that as one of my thumbnails before. You guys probably missed that one. But I had some fun with the Star Wars reference there. Jerry Jones's master plan. That whole deal. But a deflection, an Emperor Palpatine-esque smirk, and just enough ambiguity to keep the media circus spinning. America's favorite team to hate for a reason, right?
Throw him out. All right, yeah, get him the hell out of here, will you, please? Get him out of here. Throw him out.
Jerry's asked about Micah's extension. His quote from Jourdan Epstein: "I have not talked to him in about 4 or 5 weeks," Jerry said. But then he wanted to make sure that everybody heard him when he said this punchline here. The last thing he was quoted as saying, he's already got a contract. Be sure and clear about that. Damn, Jerry. Why you got to go and do this, though? I mean, so it's one thing to claim to not know the name of arguably the most respected and decorated agent in the entire game right now, one David Mulligetta, who is, of course, Micah's agent, and others, George Pickens. That's another teaser for another topic for another day. But it's just the showmanship. It's the borderline arrogance, but also for Jerry in this particular instance, it's leverage. The last little bit that he's got, right? But the cojones, man, to go to those links, to say those things, and then to say, well, hey, you're asking me about Micah's contract extension when we already kind of know that the ball has been rolling behind the scenes. For him to still go ahead and double down on basically what he said about David Mulligetta or claiming not to know his name, he's like, Micah's already got an extension. What are you talking about? Or he's already got a contract. What are you talking about? He don't need an extension. Picked up the 5th-year option. And guess what? They want to. Jerry actually really does have leverage here, but whether anybody wants to admit it or not. Okay? But he could still franchise tag Micah 2 more times if he wants to. And you can technically franchise tag a guy 3 times, but as we well know, or at least I hope that you guys know by now, from just hanging out with me, it's never happened before. And it's because the damage that would inflict on the team's salary cap would be impossible to overcome. It's so devastating to your financial situation that no team has ever done it before. No team ever will. So you could technically say it's 3, but it's really only 2. They'll never franchise. No team will ever franchise tag anybody 3 times. It's just part of unionization and the collective bargaining agreement between the NFL and the NFLPA. That's some of the player, I guess the legal jargon built on behalf of the players there, when not very many things are, by the way. But needless to say, got classic Jerry, equal parts leverage, deflection, and showmanship, right? Headline making. But buried underneath the surface of the latest soundbite is a truth that most Cowboys fans already know if they read CowboysCountry.com. Essence of the deal is already there, okay, with Micah's contract. But the deal just isn't done. It's not done. And it may not be close. And when people say it may not be close, it's because of 2 very important and critical factors. You can have an agreement in principle or a handshake deal, if you will. Remember when Micah just mentioned that was cap a few days ago. You can have that in principle as far as average annual salary is concerned. But where this makes a left turn, or at least a slight veer, minor deviation, is the total guarantees and the number of years for the contract, right? Teams want 5-year deals on max extensions because it allows them the freedom. Once again, the salary cap is fake. That whole discussion that we have, it's probably time to touch on that again, just to make sure that everybody's caught up, especially as this Micah deal looms. Teams want 5 years, so it gives them more of the salary cap is fake flexibility to gymnastics their way around money, the cap, right? Players and agents want shorter extensions so that they can get back to the negotiating table quicker. Because why? Inevitably, the market resets itself, right? Y'all know how this works by now. Okay, the highest paid NFL quarterback 2 years ago is now the 12th highest paid quarterback. The highest paid NFL quarterback today, 2 years from now, will be the 12th highest paid quarterback. Not literally. That's hyperbole, but you guys get the point, okay? The market is ever increasing. The salary cap is ever increasing because the ratings, the views, the money, the NFL product is ever increasing. Patrick Mahomes' 10-year, $500 million contract extension or whatever it was that he signed 3 years ago, that's a bargain now. And by the time it's time for him to negotiate, of course, it's not going to matter to him because of all of his endorsement deals, right? His average salary in the NFL pales in comparison to the money that he's bringing in from Adidas and Oakley and all these other big-time brands. Doesn't matter. He did that because he knew that it would allow them the flexibility to keep guys like, all their superstars around much longer. Same thing Tyron Smith did when he signed his extension back, 20? Gosh, that had to have been 10 years ago, I guess. So the Cowboys have exercised the 5th-year option, right? Jerry isn't wrong when he says that Micah's got a contract. He does. But all he's doing, we know Micah's getting paid. We know that Micah wants to be around for the new regime, the new team, the new energy. Assuming the leadership role on the defensive side of the ball. And even more simplistic than that, right? Getting a better feel and a grasp, not falling behind with the install of a new defense. Yet again, for the 3rd year in a row. That's important too. So the fact that Jerry mentions that they haven't discussed anything in 4 or 5 weeks, not surprising once we realize and understand that this is a 3-pronged negotiation here. There's three sides to this story, okay? A triple-edged sword, if you will. Because the agent has the market to look out for. Micah might be looking out for himself, for his teammates, for his team even. Jerry Jones might be doing the same thing. But David Mulugheta is not only operating on his own behalf, but for his reputation, so that he can invite and attract other clientele. No handouts here, brother. But also for the market's sake, for other players, other agents. You got to get theirs too. So there's an element of, not only is it three-sided, that third side, non-related to football, the agency here, Athletes First, David Mulugheta, there's selfishness and selflessness all happening all at once. So there's really 5 elements here that have to be factored in. For Micah, there's incentives, there's total guarantees, and then there's the average or the total number of years on top of the average annual salary. Remember, the APY is largely irrelevant because money is not guaranteed in this league unless you're Kirk Cousins. So just be patient with this thing. Be patient with Tyler Guyton. And be patient with me as we continue mastering this whole thing, juggling the written element, the digital element, and 3 children and 2 small businesses, all together wrapped inside everything else. So, questions, guys? Let me have them. Tag me on Twitter. It's the best place to keep tabs on everything that I'm doing. I'll fire off something quick if I need to get it off my chest then before I talk about it on here or write about it. But you guys can can stay tapped in that way and let me know what I can do better. Let me know what questions I can answer, and we'll keep moving, keep it moving, 1 foot forward. Means of supporting me in the channel, like Clemente as Espinoza just said, and thank you, brother. I appreciate that. That's what it's about right there, man. Word of mouth spreads like a wildfire. So thank you. But other means, outside of the super chat feature, which I guess YouTube does take 30%. So if you want to support me differently than that, that'll all be in the description box for you. So you can check that out. And then, of course, thank you once again to the official partner of the Lando Show, Waggle, right here. I can throw that QR code. Their summer collection's crazy, y'all. If you go on their website, me and my team, I co-founded a golf business, for those who don't know, about 2 years ago, roughly. And we were the feature of this summer collection. We helped them prepare for that drop, for that release. So really cool stuff that they're doing over there, man. I'm telling you, you don't have to love golf, love this brand, to love this company. They're a great team of people to work with. But with that, I hope you guys enjoy this. Stay tuned. Once again, and really exciting and completely different, something new to me that I think you guys are going to love. And if you don't, you'll love who's helping me put it together. Remember that prayer changes things and the war is already won.